Okay, we will begin this lesson. Please make sure that you're paying all the attention possible and write the objective on your book. We are on page 283, chapter 6, 283. So it's lesson 6.8, and the objective is we will rename to find the difference of two mixed numbers. What does the word mixed numbers mean? It means that it's a number, a whole numbers and fractions. So for example, 1.5, this is a mixed number because you have a whole number and you also have a fraction. And so I'm going to set it there. You can pause it if you need more time to write the objective down. Once you're ready, unpause it. We're going to start with unlock the problem. Read it with me in your head. To practice for a race, Kara is running 2.5 miles. When she reaches the end of her street, she knows that she has already run 1.56 miles. How many miles does Kara have left to run? We are going to underline what we need to find. How many miles does Kara have left to run? And we are using 2.5 miles and 1.56. So we are going to write, we are finding, so the facts are that Kara is running 2.5 miles. And when she gets to the end of the street, she knows that she has already run 1.56. The question now is, what operation should we be using to solve this problem? Think. Okay, so the answer, or you should have said, the operation that we will be needing to do today is subtraction. Okay, so go ahead and write it down. Subtraction. In that case, we will need to subtract 2.5 minus 1.56. And good practice is to first estimate. That's our first step, to estimate. So we already have 2.5, and that's an easy number, minus 5.6. 5.6 is close to 1. And we already have a whole. Therefore, 1 and 1 equals 2. So I'm going to subtract 2.5 minus 2. And that equals 2.5. Pretty much just taking away the whole numbers. So when I estimate my difference, my answer is 1/2. Step number 2, find the common denominator. Our denominators is 2 and 6 right now. They're different. To find the common denominator, you want to list your facts. I'm going to do it in different paper just because I want to make sure that it's clear enough. So I'm going to find my common denominator by writing the facts of 2. 2, 4, 6. And then I can write it, the multiples of 6. 6, 12. And I'm going to stop there because I already know or see a common number, common multiple. This common multiple is my common denominator. My common denominator is 6. So because my common denominator is 6, I'm going to write it here. I'm going to carry over the whole number. This is my whole number. And my denominator will be 6. Well, in this case, they gave us a different number. So we could just keep going. Okay, take that back. Just so that we can follow the same example. 6. So let's keep counting by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So here in the book they use 12, and I apologize for that. I did not see that. So we can use 12. That's fine. That's not a problem. So our common denominator is 12 here. Oh, they already did that for us. Okay, so when we put 12 here, and we put 12 here, that's our common denominator. And then we say 6 times what number equals 12? Well, it's 2. So we do that to the top, we do that to the bottom, and that's how they got 10, because they multiplied 5 times 2. We do the same thing on the bottom. What number times 2 will equal 12? In this case, I think it's 6. I do it to the top, and that's how they got 6, because 1 times 6 equals 6. Now, this is what we're doing different now. We are renaming 612 as a mixed number with a fraction greater than a 1. Because 6 minus 10, we cannot subtract, we have to rename it. And what we're talking about renaming is that we want to take one of the whole numbers and convert it into a fraction so that we have a bigger number to subtract. So think, 2 and 612 equals 1 plus 1, okay? Because I'm just breaking the 2. 1 plus 1 plus 612. So 1 whole is the same thing as 12 over 12, right? Okay, 1 is the same thing as 12 over 12. So we're just replacing one of the wholes by 12 over 12. So that when we add the top, we added 12 plus 6 is 18. So now I can rename it by saying 1 and 18 over 12. And those will be equal. So in this case, I will replace this to a 1. And then it's 18 over 12. Okay, and then now I can subtract 1 and 10 12. See, now I can subtract 18 minus 10. Before, I could not subtract 6 minus 10 because 6 was too small. So we need to regroup. That's basically what we're doing. We're regrouping. But because we're dealing with fractions, this is how you will regroup it. And we're using the word rename to regroup. And I do it by converting a whole number into 12 over 12. And then combining it with our fraction so that we have a bigger number. Now I say 18 minus 10 equals 8 over 12. And then 1 minus 1 equals 0, so we leave it like that. And you have to simplify. So if you're still having trouble simplifying, okay, this is an example. When you simplify, you're thinking, what number can I divide the numerator and the denominator, okay, by the same number and get a whole number? So if your numbers are even numbers, most likely you can simplify by dividing the top and the bottom by 2. But you could also go bigger. So in this case, what number can I divide 8 by and the 12? What number can I divide both? So if you think about it, you can divide by 4. So if I divide 8 by 4, that's 2. Sorry. And then 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So my response to this question is 2/3. So do you always have to rename a fraction? The answer is no. We only do this, rename a fraction, when you're subtracting a number that is smaller than the number that you're subtracting it by. Like in this case, we couldn't subtract 10 from 6. We couldn't subtract 10 from 6 because 6 is a small number. In this case, we did have to rename. Let's look at another example. Okay, so in this example, we have 2.5 minus 1 and 5 over 6. So we are going to write the equivalent fraction first. Okay, and to do that, we have to find the common denominator. So we want to write our multiples: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, these are my multiples for 2. The reason why I'm doing 2 is because my denominator is 2. Now I'm going to find my multiples for 6. 6, 12, 18, 24. And I'm going to stop there. Maybe I went too far, right? Because I have a 6 here. So that's my common denominator. So I'm going to write 6 over here and 6 down here. And don't forget that you have a whole number, so I'm going to put it in the front. And now I need to change or find the equivalent fraction. 2 times what number will give me 6? Think. 2 times what number? Well, we kind of found it here, right? 1, 2, 3. So 2 times 3 equals 6. So if I do that to the bottom, I do it to the top. And 1 times 3 equals 3. So that equivalent fraction is 3 over 6. Now let's do the bottom. Oh, well, that stays the same, right? Because we don't have to multiply, it's the same fraction. Now, we are going to rename. We are subtracting. Can you subtract 5 from 3? We can't, right? It's not possible. That is the reason why we need to rename. The fractions. Now here it's telling us rename both mixed numbers as fractions greater than 1. So I'm going to go ahead and start by renaming the first fraction. And we're going to do it with both just for practice. It's a good practice. So I'm going to rename both fractions. So you need to think. Okay. The 2 here is like saying 6 over 6 plus 6 over 6 plus 3 and a 6. 3 over 6. Okay. So this is 1. This is 1. Okay. This is 1. This is 1. And then 3, 6. Okay. Because 6 over 6 is equal to 1. So 1, 2. So this is what I'm trying to show you. That there's here 1 whole. And that's equal to 2 and 3, 6. Okay, now you want to, we're trying to make this into a fraction. So we're getting rid of the whole numbers by just adding all of this, okay, the numerator. We added 3 fractions. So 6 plus 6 equals 12, right? So it's saying 6 plus 6, oops, not 6 plus 6 plus 3. So that's 12 and 3 equals 15 over 6. Okay, so this mixed number is the same thing as this fraction, 15 over 6. What I did is just that I converted my 2 whole numbers into 6 over 6 plus 6 over 6. And then I just added the numerators so that I can have a fraction like this. I'm going to do the same thing down here. I have 1 whole. So that 1 whole is equal to 6 over 6. Now I'm going to add the 5, 6. So 6 plus 5 equals 11. And that is over 6. The denominator has to stay the same. Now I can find the difference of the fraction because I have big numbers. A bigger number in the numerator for the top one. So 15 over 6 minus 11 over 6. So 15 minus 11 equals 4 over 6. Now, is this simplified? No, right? I can tell because these are even numbers. So I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. 4 divided by 2 equals 2, and 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So my answer is 2 over 3. Okay, at this point, I want you to try doing number 1. Okay, do number 1. And then you're going to ask your substitute teacher to check the answer for you if you got it right. If you got it right, once you get it right, you go on checking for understanding on Think Central and complete the problem there so I can see. If you're still having trouble, I want you to ask some of the students that finish early can help other students that need help with this one. Okay, if you need extra help, then go ahead and do also number 2. All right.